Make sure I'm on. Let's make sure we're up. I completely forgot this was a thing until 2 minutes ago, so I'm a bit late, but sorry. Let's make sure audio's working. Hello. Yeah. I'm pretty sick, guys. I'm not gonna lie, but nonetheless, I'm doing this for you. So, welcome, everyone. Be thankful, I guess. Okay. Okay, let's focus. Okay. Everybody, this is live election coverage of the 2025 Newfoundland provincial election here. This is the, oh my god, this is the map. For anyone wondering, this is the map. There's another one that was just, the polls just closed like 6 minutes ago. So I'm not too late to the party, but this is what we have so far. Okay. So, little background here. Little zoom in here. So this is for the provincial election in Newfoundland, and so far the provincial Liberal Party is, I believe, on their third or fourth incumbent term, and right now, let's see. So the polls just closed, and this is a fight for the premiership. We have the Liberal Party, led by a guy named Hogan, and then Progressive Conservative, led by a guy named Makeham or something. I guess I don't know Newfoundland that well. I'm doing my best to cover this, but this is what we get. So this is what we have so far. So far, we have the PCs at 4 seats, Liberals at 3, both 48% of the vote in. The PCs are ahead by 1 vote. Again, and this is with, let's see. Where's my mouse? This is retarded. There we go. Okay. These are the ones they have so far. See, literally, they were just called they were not called by much, but look at that. I mean, oh, here are the leaders. Okay. We have Liberal leader John Hogan, PC leader Tony Wakeham, NDP's relevant to something. Okay. That's so mean. Okay. Politics is never an easy sport, guys. If you're irrelevant, you're irrelevant. So this is the map so far. The PCs with 5 seats, the Liberals with 3 seats. This is it. Just for reference, this is the 2021 map. Can I Okay, I'm back. Here. No, wait, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is the current standings. The lead has switched, but again, it's just so close right now that it really doesn't matter. It's been, look, how many votes have been counted in total? 4,000. Like, it's not a whole lot. So right now, NDP going strong with 160 votes. I need a horse. And then got Liberals ahead of the Conservatives by 200 votes and by 1 seat. If we go down, these are the current seats standing. So far, no one has been officially elected yet. Can I zoom in or no? So far, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Liberal leaning seats, and are the Conservatives back in the lead? Let's take a look. No, the Liberals are still in the lead, right? Yeah, okay, I'm reading that right. But I will be playing the CBC audio on here. Just let's see here. Oh my god, I'm exhausted. All right. The new seat standings: Liberals with 54.4% of the votes, Conservative with 41, NDP with 4.5, Libs with 7, PC 6, and NDP 1. These are with 0 counted. Sorry, 0 completely counted. All leading right now. Of course, there haven't really been a whole lot that have been. I mean, like, there's maybe 5,000 votes in total. So we'll see. Let's see. Make sure the audio's working too. Of course. Wow, I sound horrible today. I am really not feeling great. Okay. Okay. So let's see. CBC News Live. Newfoundland. Okay. And the polls have just updated. Even though Liberals are still beating the Conservatives with over 12%, somehow the Conservatives and Liberals are officially tied in the seat count, which I find insane. If I'll say big if the current somehow if the current trend stays the same, this will be a close race, which is not what the polls are showing, which I was not expecting to be at all. I thought it would be the case at all. Let's see here. All right, sorry about that. I finished my house. Maybe I can talk a little. Never mind. Wow. Okay. Well, back to it. Some crazy things have happened in the last 34 seconds since I left. Conservative Party up to 44% of the vote. Liberals down to 51. NDP remains steady at 4. The PCs are now in the lead at 9 to 8 seats elected in. A majority is 22. And so far, there have been no elects. However, there have been no called races. However, if the current trend holds, this will be a much closer election than everyone's thinking. I am by no means expecting a conservative win here. What I'm expecting is the NDP to win one. Maybe they win a couple. Honestly, maybe they don't even win any seats. I would be not surprised if this is purely red versus blue, this election. But only time will tell. We'll have to see. Again, now they are tied in the seat count. The vote share is still not tied. Liberals taking away with that one by a pretty steady margin. However, that isn't what elects the premier. At the end of the day, the popular vote doesn't really matter. But when they're tied like this, it is easier to see who's gaining momentum. Speaking gaining momentum, the Conservatives are now 10 seats in. And do you know what's crazy? Usually, if you look at during the U.S. election, in like the first 30 minutes, if you count cities first, it looked like, oh my God, Kamala Harris is winning Nebraska by 5%. Obviously, that didn't happen. Trump won it by like 25. However, the fact that we're already almost 20 minutes in, and by now the Ontario election was already called, but somehow the Conservatives in this election are still maintaining the early suburban seats that they have is crazy. I did not expect them to not flip. Sorry. For example, down here, all these seats, I did not expect these to go to the Conservatives. Now, to be fair, I didn't expect this one or these two to go Liberal, but at the end of the day, I just saw another new seat. Okay, Liberals are back in the lead. Looks like they gained one new seat, and then they flipped a seat from the PCs, which I expected to happen earlier, but I'm not surprised to be happening now. Maybe you can just throw out the window what I just said. But as of right now, the popular vote seems like pretty decidedly. It hasn't moved in quite a while. If this stays the same, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm honestly shocked the NDP is winning one seat at all. With how poorly they unfortunately did, because I did up until this year respect the NDP as a party, and I think they had good morals until their previous leader Jagmeet Singh tore the party apart. That's federally, I know, but usually, with the exception of Ontario for some reason, usually when a federal party does one thing, a provincial party, how do I say this? Unlike the PCs and Liberals, the NDP always have kind of similar. They always tend to group together. Like the federal NDP and the provincial one always seem to tie together when, for example, the federal Conservative and Ontario provincial PC party doesn't really mix. The NDPs do. So I'm surprised that the NDP is winning anything at all with how poorly people seem to be, how little people like them federally in this election. I don't think they won. I'm pretty sure they won 0 Atlantic Canada seats at all. Now, the NDP was not strong in Atlantic Canada at all. I could see in maybe BC or Manitoba, but to see them even winning even one seat is pretty impressive. But back to it, we are now 19 minutes past poll close, and these are the current standings. To see them even winning one seat, oh my God! All right, well, we know the audio works. Sorry. So the current seat standings are 13 for the Liberals and 11 for the Conservatives, and surprisingly 2 for the NDP. Now, the popular vote hasn't changed in like 15 minutes. The votes seem to be growing at the same amount, but maybe the Liberal Party's efficiency isn't as good as it was last time. Because if you ever scroll down for a minute, here's the current map. for example, the Liberals are winning this island at St. John's, I think. So far, I'm not even going to count Labrador yet, but this central island here, the Conservatives actually seem to be winning as of right now, and that's a big change considering if we go back to 2021, where if I'm just going to I'm going to zoom in here, you can see that in total, Conservatives ran won only 5 seats in this island here, and the others are deep red. And if we go back now, the ones that are deep red are still only leaning red. Now they haven't been called yet, but I'm surprised they haven't been called yet, considering how much they swung to the Liberals last time. The Conservatives right now are winning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. I think 8 or 9. I'm pretty sure 8 seats in that main island as of right now. And once we go up here, nothing has changed since last time. Actually, the Conservatives are actually gaining more, and the Liberals are losing popular vote. I don't know how the hell NDP is winning 2 seats with 400 votes. Like, they must be in ridings with only, like, 30 votes counted. Because, like, wait, how do you win 2 ridings with 450 votes? Okay, NDP is a very unique, okay, well, here is a big upset, I would have to say, is we're now 22 minutes past poll close, and in a shocking turn of events, remember, the polls were saying the Liberals were going to win 59% of the popular vote. 59%. They're down to 49.4% of the popular vote. Conservatives up to 44%. The popular vote is tightening, and it's tightening fast. The NDP is doing, like, popular vote-wise, as good as I would assume. 3.8 isn't crazy. Seat-wise, that's a whole different story, but we're focused on popular vote right now. This is the first time in at least 10 to 15 minutes that the Liberal Party hasn't basically, like, if they had maintained what they had 10 minutes ago, it would have a shown away majority. However, 49% in Newfoundland actually isn't a crazy margin. Okay, hold on. What just happened? Whoa, what just happened? Okay, wow. We just had a lot of polls just be reported right now. Okay, I gotta go through this. Okay. This is the map right now. And Conservatives are doing surprisingly good in this area, but they are losing ground in the southern island near St. John's. We come up, Liberals, just like I was saying, their popular vote is shrinking. It's actually down now to 49.2%. The Conservatives are down also to 43.4%. But the fact that the popular vote is within what I would consider the margin of error, if you could say it's a 4% margin of error on both sides in a poll, for example, that's not actually that far apart at this point when we have nothing elected. NDP is remaining steady. Independents always do surprisingly good in Newfoundland compared to the rest of the country. They're winning too right now, which isn't like crazy. It's pretty on point. But now we're okay. Scratch what I just said. The Conservative they're gaining on the Liberals. This is a close race. This is a close race. The Liberals are only winning by 4.8%. That's not good. If I'm Mr. Hogan, that's really good. I mean, I would not. I don't want to call this too early. I think I'm going to wait a little longer. But as of right now, I do not see the Liberals winning a majority government. I don't see that. I physically don't. I don't think I see that with how the night's going. Now, maybe if they count mail-in ballots after, but I mean, the Liberals and Conservatives are now both only 6 seats away from a majority government. But the crazy thing is they still haven't elected any. They're still all leading, which tells me it is an extremely close race. The ones where the Liberals and the Conservatives especially are leading, probably only by maybe 2 or 3% in each riding. Actually, let's go down. Let's... What's this? Okay, got a message from the Conservative Party. I'll deal with that later. Okay, let's see down. Let's scroll down. Okay, the Liberals are. This is a bit better for the Liberals. However, not great better. The Conservatives have traded off 0.5% back to the Liberals, but they still aren't over the 50% threshold, and the seats are still tied, and it hasn't moved for quite a while. It's in 5 minutes at this point. Now, if we go down, oh, hold on. We take a look at last time. Independent, NDP. This didn't go for red or blue at all last time. Is that red or blue? I know. Is that red or black? I think it's black. Either way. Now look at it. Red. So NDP's gone, and independent and conservative. Conservatives, they didn't win anything in Newfoundland last time. And sorry. Now we're back to what I was saying. Let's see how the leaders are doing in their ridings. Okay, actually, let's go here for a second. Okay, so if we look at in Labrador, the Liberals are stealing away with the popular vote. This is what you want to see provincially if you are a Liberal supporter. And how they're doing good in Labrador right now, but Labrador isn't where all the seats are. Let's go down to Central. It's flipped. The Conservatives now are on top. Again, it's only 4 seats. Nothing that special. I'm not a good guy for that. Okay, here's where it's good. See, back to what I was saying. I'm not a huge Newfoundland geography guy. However, the East seems to be where most of the seats are. And you look at it, the Conservatives are leading. Where if you go back and look last time, this is red dominant. And now it is. If you look at the map, which I'll show in a sec, it is blue dominated, and they are very, very close in the popular vote, and the NDP is just getting destroyed. If you go down to the metro area, the Libs obviously coming away with that in the what is it called, in the metro area for St. John's. NDP doing pretty good there. Independent doing surprisingly good in the St. John's area. But only a 51% lead. You see, I would say that's not what you want to see. However, the fact that the Conservatives are only at 30, that is a pretty substantial lead, so that's probably good for the Liberals. Go to the West, and I expect it to be pretty close, within 4%. Here's the thing: Liberals are leading the popular vote by 4%. However, the Conservatives are destroying them in the seat count. Independents even have a seat. And that shows you I think the killer to the Mr. Hogan in this election is that the Liberal vote does not seem to be that efficient. Now, back to what I was talking about for the leaders. No results. Here we go. For the PC leader and for the NDP leader, they're only winning by a very slim margin, which means two things. Either one, they're waking in their boots right now. That's pretty scary. Or they barely started counting and they only have like 10% in it. But either way, 46% margin. Like, it tells me that there haven't been a lot of votes counted yet. But let's go back up to the map and let's see what we see here. Okay, we see the same thing I was talking about. The Liberals, their popular vote is shrinking. The Liberals have finally gained, so we're not in that dead heat time anymore. It was 15-15, now it's 16-15 Liberals, so there is a bit of a lead there. However, again, if you look at the popular vote, it's ridiculously tight. Considering the polls the polls I read showed the Liberals winning with 59% of the popular vote. I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening. I really don't. And the Independents and the NDP, they're roughly the equal in vote share. Independent have 2 and NDP has 1. This shows me that voter efficiency is just terrible for the NDP. Unfortunately, in this election, it does not seem like they're gonna really get anywhere. I mean, I feel like the whole left-wing Canadian socialist image, they have to rebuild themselves over their multiple leaders have destroyed it over the last 10 to 15 years. From 2011, when it was at its peak, I mean, there was an NDP Ontario premier. The NDPs were wiping the floor in BC, and of course we had the NDP being the official opposition federally in 2011 to 2015. The socialist left wing NDP like style politics has really shifted and moderated into more of a left wing, not so socialist, but more liberal way of thinking. So the votes have kind of been driven away from the NDP, and if you don't like the big two parties, then you're more likely, especially in Newfoundland, to vote for an independent than the NDP, because like the NDP are kind of seen as sellouts nowadays. I'm not trying to be a partisan. I'm not saying yes that's good or no that's bad. Kind of trying to be nonpartisan here. I'm trying to look at it from all angles. But the NDP do not be looking to do so good, and this is the same thing that I saw during the federal election. I'm gonna call this right now. I mean, like, I would not want to be the NDP leader right now. That's just what I would have to say. As for the Liberals and Conservatives, now they're tied again, and we have our first elected seat, which is a good step forward. It took a while, but now we can officially project that Green Bay has been called for the Conservatives. That is the first out of 42 seats to be called. Is it 41 or 42 seats have been actually called? When elected or leading Liberals leading in 17. Make that 18, and they're now officially ahead again. They're inching ahead of the Conservatives, who are elected or leading in 16. And again, the popular vote is just super, super close here, which is something I personally wasn't expecting, considering my time. Literally nothing. Okay, so I'm not missing anything. I should try. I can plug my phone. Why does this always happen to me? Hold up. Sorry, guys. My camera's not as fast falls. Okay. Okay. Nope. Nope. Okay, hold on. Okay, that works, I think. Again, I'm so sorry about that, guys. Anyways, let's get back to it. Nothing has changed in the last 30 seconds or so. Let's go check here. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see a trend, which is if we go back to 2021, it does look like crap. Where's the map? It does look like most of the independent seats are going to the PCs if they're not going independent right now. Again, sorry. PCs have won one seat, and they're elected in 15 with 43.4% of the vote. The Liberals are wow. Okay, that was a massive jump. I don't know what just happened, but that was what just happened. Are those all the seats? Are they all officially polls closed now, or are they all reporting? 35. There's a few more. I think there's 3 or 4 more. But okay, wow. Well, here we go. Big news. The Liberals selected their first MPP. Liberals are now elected in 1, leading in 19 for a total of 20 seats in their briefcase. I don't know what to say. And the PCs are elected in 1, leading in 14. Again, popular vote remains extremely close. However, I don't see it moving that much. It's been basically the same thing for 25 minutes at this point. I think the poll saying the Liberals were going to win 59% is complete rubbish. It's complete trash. I don't think that's... I didn't believe it when I saw it, but I'm like, okay, maybe they're right. No, they're wrong. That's not happening. I just don't see that happening. However, unless something changes, it does not look. It started off looking like a really good night for the Conservatives, and that is changing, and that's changing fast. The Conservatives, again, they're doing good in the middle part, but they're losing ground in St. John, and they're doing good here too. They're really losing ground in St. John, which is interesting considering in the beginning of the night it was completely the opposite. Like now the Liberals have a 6-seat lead on the Conservatives, which is, again, that's a complete change from what we saw earlier with the Conservatives being tied, if not above the Liberals by a couple. And I used to say that the Liberals probably wouldn't win a majority, but like now there is a possibility. I don't know, the popular vote is just really close right now, but we'll have to take a look. Here, let's see. Again, Independent and NDP are both 2 seats. NDP with 7% of the vote, and I dropped my pencil. I'll get a new one. And what was I gonna say? NDP with 7 and Independent with 4%. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Here's why this is confusing. The Liberals right now are leading by 5 seats, but despite the poll saying like a 20 to 25 point lead in the popular vote, they're only winning by 4.4%. They're not even winning by like 10%, which was it's oh, that's pretty big. But yeah, but they said it was going to be leading by 20%. The fact that Jesus Christ, I need another Halls. The fact that the Liberals are this low in the popular vote is pretty stunning, if I'm being honest. Because, like, right now, a 3.2% lead, that's not substantial at all. That's very close. That's very close. Now, if I was the Conservative leader and I lose this election, I would be pretty mad because, I mean, if you're that close to winning, like, just not like a couple thousand votes in the right places could have flipped quite a few ridings. However, there's still been no more called seats, just those 2, which is surprising because usually when one's called, they all sort of follow, but there's still either that 2 or 3 ridings that are yet to be counted. Like, I don't know, there are no results coming in, and those will make or break this election. Now, we'll have to see. I'm not sure when or how long or if these seats are going to be elected. They're all still leading with the exception of 2. But I mean, again, like, what my 2 cents tells me is that, like, what my 2 cents are is that, like, that's not the right way of putting it. I'm so tired. My 2 cents are that right now the popular vote is too close for any of the seats for either the Liberals or Conservatives to be fully locked in, with the exception of, obviously, the ones. Like, I feel like those could drastically change at any time, because they seem to be very close. I mean, like, if let's go down and just take a look here. Look at this. Look, lead by 1,000 votes, lead by 700, lead by 400, lead by 70, 200, 150 votes, lead by 200, lead by 600. A lot of these ridings aren't that big of a lead. Now, like, obviously, they have to be counted more. There's more to be counted. But as of right, what I'm saying is, of course, this could change at any time. Is, for example, if they count in chronological order from day to night, and all of the NDP voters happen to come in right at the end, well, then it looks like the NDP will be doing terrible until, oh my God, all of a sudden 10% for the NDP came in the last hour of voting time. Go down. Okay. Look, this guy's the premier seat has just been counted. Like, 20 votes. Here, 700, 500 votes, 300 votes. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at how many votes have been counted here. Look, right now, He's winning with 70% of the vote. 70%. That's insane. And he's only leading by 500 votes. There's not a whole lot of votes to be counted unless literally 2,000 people live in your riding. Now again, I don't know how densely or not densely populated Newfoundland is, but again, let's check this one. So John's Center. Again, there hasn't been a whole lot of votes counted in the first place. What about John Hogan? Yeah, again, they're all winning by 60 to 70% of the vote, but none of their ridings have had more than 1,000 votes counted in total. Hold on, I see some change on the map. Okay, two seats have now been elected, like confirmed for the PCs, and one seat has been confirmed still only for the Liberals. However, if the Liberals win every single seat that they currently are leading in, then they will have a majority government. If some of them change, well, then we could see a much different scenario. The thing with Labrador is because there's only 40-something seats, the difference between winning a minority, and the other party winning a majority is like literally maybe five seats. It's not like, oh, well, my opponent is 30 seats behind me. It's like, no, if you win and they lose, you're like 4 seats ahead of them. So it's very close because there's not a lot of seats. But again, the popular vote has never been closer, which I'm still finding crazy. Take a look up here. All right, it is updated. Look at that. The Conservative seats have been locked in, all 3 of these. Let's see which ones those are. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go back here. Come on. Are you kidding me right now? Here we go. Nope. Why would it do that? I'm so confused right now. How do I access my other tabs? Hold on. Hold on. Well, that's weird. I don't know why that happened, but give me a sec, guys. Alright. That's weird, guys. Sorry for that happening. Okay. Back to business. So if we look at the seats that are locked in for the Conservatives, let's go back here. Okay. These seats, they have won last time, I believe. Let's see here. I don't know why it does that. No, okay. So, we have one confirmed flip from PC to Liberal. Sorry, from Liberal to PC. The PCs have been officially elected in 2 of the seats they won last time, and one of, which one is it? It's this one up here. Sorry, this one up here, which was a liberal win last time in 2021. And the Liberals, they have been elected in the one that they were really good in last time. That's to be expected. Liberals, again, only elected in 1 seat as of right now. But even though their seat count is gaining with now an 8-seat lead, their popular vote is shrinking down to only 3 points. The NTP is doing way better than I actually thought. Like, not seat-wise, I mean popular vote-wise. Let's see here. Newfoundland election 2021. Last time the NDP won 8%. I was expecting them to drop a lot. Looks like they didn't. Okay, so far, there have been 5 elected seats. That's 3 for the Conservatives, 1 for the Liberals, and 1 for an independent. Again, the popular vote keeps on shrinking dramatically. The Liberals started off the night with a 59 or 58 point lead, something insane like that. In the popular vote, and now the Conservatives did just flip a riding. So that's, again, it's very close. In order for the Liberals to win another majority, they need to keep all these seats. But the Conservatives just flipped one, so let's see. Things might get interesting soon. I would be shocked if the NDP wins any more than they have right now. I wouldn't expect them to win any more than they have right now. Let's go check on the leaders. Let's see here. Winning 71%. Yeah. This guy winning by, again, 71%. And the NDP leader winning by 62%. Again, not a whole lot of votes counted in their ridings, but if we look at the map, this is the current map compared to the 2021 map. You see the independents have basically been destroyed. There's not a whole lot of them left. There was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the last one, and now there's two leading, 1 elected. The independents are not doing as good this time as last time. Okay, but we look at it right now. Popular vote hasn't changed. Nothing's changed, actually. I guess it hasn't refreshed yet. Let's see here. It hasn't refreshed. 20 seconds. 18 seconds will refresh. It's okay. So we have time to do whatever we want for 18 seconds. Oh, God, I'm too tired. Okay. You look at this now. NDP down to 7% of the vote. 2 ridings not elected. Independent down to 3.9%. 1 elected, 1 leading. PC 15 total, 3 elected, 12 leading. And Liberals incumbent 1 elected, 20 leading, with only a 2.7% lead in the popular vote, which is astounding if you're anyone but the Liberals. And for the NDP, I would be happy if I was the NDP because they're doing better than I expected, at least. So that's something. Let's see. 4, 3, 2. Let's see. No updates? Are you kidding? Yeah, okay. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Again, the Conservatives are doing better in these in Labrador and the Central Island than they did last time. And the Liberals are doing better in also Labrador than they did last time. And the independents are just suffering everywhere, and I don't see a single orange seat. I know there are 2, but I can't see them because they're probably tiny and down there. But if we go down to check on the leaders again, let's see here, 53%, 46%, yeah, nothing's changed. Actually, the NDP leader, he's down actually a bit, which is, I'm not going to say he's going to lose a seat by any means, but pretty close actually. Let me rephrase. It's not close. It's just not it's closer than it was 20 minutes ago. And there you go. Again, no change in the seats or the popular vote, anything meaningful at least. The Liberals are right now just towing the line for a majority. All they need is for a Conservative to flip 1 of their seats, and they lose their majority. And then all you need is to lose 2 more, and then you've lost government altogether. That's the thing with Newfoundland. It's very close. There are not a lot of ridings to choose from, and to if I was the Liberal leader right now, the polls are saying I was going to win with 59% of the popular vote. I'm now only leading by 2.7% of the popular, 2.5% of the popular vote. I would be pretty scared right now, because I know that there's still 20 seats left to be counted for my majority, and right now, a Conservative or NDP or an Independent could flip you any one of them. Contrast the Conservatives, which don't have a whole lot elected, but I still have 3 elected for sure seats. And Liberals only have 1, and it's the safest seat they won last time. And the Independents are just struggling everywhere. Same with the NDP. Again, this is the current map, and this is the map in 2021. Yeah, again, you look, this was Liberal dominated, and now it's Conservative dominated. And, oh, they just got elected another seat. There you go. The Liberals, the Conservatives just got elected in another seat. And then they have 4 elected and 11 leading. Most of the 15 they've already won look pretty safe. When it comes to the Liberals, a lot of the seats they are winning is by a very slim margin. So, we'll see. Again, if it's anything, I was saying in the beginning of the election that it was voter efficiency that was going to kill the Liberals if it happened, but now I think the NDP is really suffering the most from voter disefficiency, I guess. However, it's the opposite. Usually, when you don't have enough efficient voter base, it's like, okay, well, all of your support's in like 10 ridings, so you win 10 ridings by 90%, and you win no other. So with the NDP, it's like you have like a tiny amount of votes in each riding, except it's just not enough to win each riding. So it's the opposite problem, because, I mean, you look at the numbers, and like, with 7%, they're only winning 2 seats. It's, okay, what happened? Okay, the Liberals have just flipped another Conservative seat. Leading, not elected. Let's take a look, see which one that was. It was this one down here. This one keeps on flipping back and forth. Fairyland's one to keep an eye on right now, actually, because that seat has flipped back 5 or 6 times just tonight. Sorry, I have a horrible cold. But I mean, look how close they're. Literally by 4 votes that are separated. Go up here to St. John's, and I mean, I'm even surprised the Conservatives are winning 1 seat there. Count 2 if you kind of count this. But, I mean, only 15, but like, that's still like a good amount. If you look, here's what I'm saying. If you look at the seats the Conservatives are winning, they're all by pretty meaningful numbers. However, with the Liberals, the ones that they're winning are by 4 votes. Like, it could switch at any time. And we'll go up here to the one the Liberals were elected. Oh, come on. With the ones Liberal, come on, why do you do that? It's EBC, man. Yeah, the one the Liberals were elected in, for example, that one you can see, they won with almost 80% of the vote. They could have called that before the polls closed. They shouldn't even have, they could even, if they wanted to, they probably didn't even need an election. They could have just called it, yeah, she won without having an election. That's how close, that's how not close it was. Terra Nova, 63%, easy. This, 75%, easy. However, this one is an interesting one. This one is a flip. The incumbent, oh, my bad, I'm looking at the, which one am I looking at? Here, this one, 72.5% of the vote. That is incredible. Up here, why hasn't this one been called yet? That's ridiculous. This one needs to be 90. She's winning by 95%. Who hasn't called that yet? That's ridiculous. She basically already won. Flip the riding. Look at that. That's really impressive. 95%. I've never seen that. I have never seen that high of a win. And down here, 54%. That's a pretty reasonable lead. 95. These are both flips. They went to independents last time, which is crazy. Then come over to the Liberals. They're only leading by 4%. It's a flip, but only by 4%. 15%. That's not a flip, that's an incumbent. If you look at the seats that the Liberals are winning, they could flip at any time. It's not locked in. Look at it right now. Again, nothing much has changed. The Liberals have finally a second seat locked in. Why don't we check how much they won that one by? Right here. Yep, 60%. That's fair. That's called, yeah. Here's the thing. The reason the Liberals aren't doing as good as I thought they would do, and everyone thought they would do, is because the independents are suffering this election, and it looks like all the people who usually vote independent are voting conservative this time. I mean, again, the vote is the lowest it's ever, the closest it's ever been. Look at that. It's now 2.2% away. Let me really drive this in. Right now, the Liberal Party is winning by 2.2% of the popular vote. 2.2%. There are some very real pollsters who have them winning with a 28% lead. 28%. They're leading with 2%. That's not a lot. That is really not. I would be pretty scared to be the Liberal leader right now. To be fair, I would be pretty scared to be any of the leaders right now. I would be freaked out to be the Conservative leader, and I would be devastated to be the NDP leader right now. I would say as of right now, I can't. I wouldn't say the PCs are in the best spot, but I can't in my right mind say the Liberals are in the best spot. They're not. Really, again, we've now been here for coming up on an hour, 58 minutes. We've been here for 58 minutes, and somehow the election still hasn't been called. The federal election was called by this point. They were overestimating the Liberals and underestimating both, they're overestimating independents and underestimating the PCs, because it looks like what's happening is the NDP, the voter efficiency is terrible. The PCs are the second choice option for people who used to vote independent, and the independents are getting destroyed. And the Liberals, by results, are only leading by 2% when the polls say they should be leading by 28%. Don't forget, they should be leading from 59% to like 28%. They should be, like, their lead should be huge right now. And the fact that it's that close, that's not a good sign for the Liberals. For the Conservatives, this is a good sign. That even if you don't win this time, you can see that people's minds are shifting. I mean, I never even thought that it would be a possibility that the Liberals win less than 50% of the vote. I didn't think that was possible with how the polls were showing it. Yeah, look at that. Let's flip back. Let's see what updates. Nothing's changed, except the popular vote has now shrunk again. The Liberals are now only leading by 2%. That's impressively tight. Like on the behalf, like not on behalf. What is it called? To the Conservative Party, that's impressive. The voter turnout is for the Conservatives seems to be pretty good this election, considering it's been only 2%. That's ridiculously close. Now, I'm still surprised that there haven't been more seats called. However, I just think that with the popular vote being as tight as it is, I I don't know how, like, will we even know the results tonight? Or will this be an all-night thing? Like, in the US election, where the popular vote was extremely close, the electoral votes not so much, but like that's the electoral votes for you. If you look at the popular vote, we didn't know Donald Trump would be president until 2 in the morning. Like an all-night thing, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple of seats that we don't know for a few more days. Like, I would say there's going to be quite a few ridings here who need a judicial recount because how close they are. Like, with this many votes counted and this few elected seats, surprising. Again, let's check. What is it refreshed right now? Nothing's changed. Okay. This is the map again. This is the map, and this is a 2021. This is the map, 2021. Whole lot more blue, and a whole lot less black. Down. Where is it? Okay. The PC leader has been elected in his riding, to no surprise. His riding's been called. For the NDP leader, his vote seems to be shrinking. Not that he's in danger of losing a seat, but I mean, there's only been like 1,300 votes counted in his riding. They're pretty slow on that. But that's going to be like the closest of all the ridings with the Liberals, I would have to say. Here, again, I don't know why they should probably call it by now. This is a pretty big. They just called it. That was the perfect time. That was perfect timing. That was perfect timing. Well, they did. They just called it. I was gonna say they should call it by now, and they just did call it. So perfect. Both of the serious party leaders have now been their leaders have been elected in their seats. Nothing surprising there. If you look at it again, Liberals have elected another seat. That would be the leader. And they are now actually back into minority territory, which is something I saw happening for a while if you were watching before. When the Liberals were leading in 21 seats and elected in one, like, to win a majority government, you got to win every one of the seats you're elected in. And when you're only winning by 40 votes or 30 votes, the likelihood that all 20 of those seats do not flip is highly unlikely. So as we're seeing right now is, I said it right from the beginning, and I questioned myself for a little bit. I think I'm going to go back to my original statement. I just do not see anyone winning a majority government tonight. I really do not. I don't see that as a extremely likely possibility. That's what I would say, though. I mean, again, the popular vote is ridiculously close. For the fact that the polls were saying the Liberals win by 28%, I think one poll it showed like like the Conservatives at 24% and the Liberals at 59%. Like, that's double the PC vote count. What? Oh my God. This is getting close, guys. For a second there, did you see that? 17-19. This is surprisingly close. This is ridiculously close. I would say one of the key ridings to focus on would be, also, why the hell haven't they called this yet? Why haven't they called this? 93%? Are you kidding me? They should call that. I don't know what, that's pretty decisive if I've ever seen it. Down here, this riding right here, Fairyland. It is switched from Liberal to Conservative 5 or 6 times just in the last hour and a bit. It does look like the Conservatives are kind of pulling away with it, considering their incumbents is not surprising. However, for a while, that was a pretty toss-up. That was a pretty like swing riding right there. Go back up. This is closer than I thought. This is way closer than I thought. And the poor NDP basically have nothing to their name. They're not even elected in anything yet. Again, this is good for the PCs, guys. I'm trying to be nonpartisan. If you know who I am, if you know my channel, then you know I'm not. I am pretty partisan usually. However, I'm trying my best to be unbiased here. Also, I'm not from Newfoundland, so I don't have a particularly extreme bias to either one of the parties. However, this was the 2021 election. As you can see, in central Newfoundland, pretty big shift, considering it was basically red dominated, and now it's completely conservative dominated. I've been saying this for a long time. This is, with how bad the independents and NDP are going to do, this is basically a red versus blue battle. This is basically a two-party system in this election. There is no, look, one independent has been elected, one is leading. It's not surprising considering how bad the NDP did in the federal election. But, I mean, I know they're technically different parties, but, come on, you know what I mean. The NDP, unfortunately, I say unfortunately because although I didn't support what they stood for, they were a serious party based off of good values, and they've been ravaged by poor leaders the last 10 years. After Jack Layton passed away, it has been downhill constantly for them, and I mean, I'm even surprised that they have 7% of the vote here. I don't think they'll cross 8%, which is what they got in 2021. However, something more important now is that the Liberals are only winning by 1.1% of the vote. I cannot express this enough, how amazing that is for the Conservatives and how horrible that is for the Liberals and the NDP is having a bad night whatsoever. I would say, if you're an NDP supporter, go to bed and save yourself the headache in the morning, if I'm being honest with you. No offense, but this is a red versus blue tonight, unfortunately. And if we look at, oh my god, wow. Hold on, I'm trying to sink this in for a second. That is crazy. The Liberals are leading by, let me make sure I don't want to mess up my math here, by 0.9% of the vote. They are leading by less than 1%. This is a toss-up election. There are 10 ridings that could be determined within 50 votes of each other. And the fact that the poll said, again, a 28% lead for the Liberals is not happening. I'm going to stick by my claim. I don't see any party winning a majority here tonight. Elected and leading, both Conservatives and Liberals now have elected 5 members of provincial parliament and are leading the Liberals in 12 and 14 Conservatives in 12. This is surprising. The Liberal lead has now shrunken again to 0.8%. That is incredible. Not incredible good or bad. Not incredible good, yes, but I'm trying to be nonpartisan, but that is incredible in the way it's stunning. It is almost funny that the Liberals are now only winning by half a point, 0.5%, when the polls had them winning by 28%. Not 28%, a 28% lead, and they now have half a point lead. This is a ridiculously close election, which, when I'm being told, I had to cancel my gym plans with my friend tonight, because if I'm being totally honest, I expected this election to be called within the first half an hour. We're now here 70 minutes in, and it's closer than ever. This is impressive. This shows me two things. One, that voter efficiency is very good for conservatives and not so much for the liberals. And two, that the conservatives had a very good ground game. They probably had a very good canvassing and door knocking schedule, and they probably were very good at getting out the vote. Because, again, right now, I would not be surprised, genuinely I would not be surprised, if the conservatives, even if they don't win, if they come away with at least a tie, if not a win in the popular vote. That would not, it would be, wow, it wouldn't be overly surprising, though, considering, how well they're doing right now. Jesus Christ, not this again. I've had this game for like 5 years, I don't know how to get rid of it. Anyways. Where is it? It's far down. Okay, here. There we go. It took me a while to get to. Want to make sure. All right. I would say it's probably about. No, maybe not. I mean, St. John Center hasn't had a lot of votes counted. They gotta work harder there. Oh wow, another flipped one. Well, this is quite. This is quite impressive for the conservatives here, and not so impressive for especially the independents and the NDP. The NDP I expected to do better, but the independents, they're really doing pretty poorly, if I'm being honest, in this election. Which that's You see, that's interesting because, again, usually the independents are really good. However, okay, it's so important. Really, this is red versus blue. That's all that matters at this point. I mean, I don't think either party's going to win a majority tonight, if I'm being totally honest with you. That's the first time that's happened where the Liberals actually now have elected more members of parliament than the Conservatives. However, I still do stick by my claim that the Liberal ones are very quick. Now, I think it's probably time to call. I would call Fairland. How do you pronounce that? Maybe not quite yet, but within the next 20 minutes, I would call Fairyland. This one has been ready to call for the last 12 hours, basically. I don't understand how they haven't called this for the Conservatives yet. 95% of the vote? That's insane. That's basically a win if I've ever seen one. Here. This is one to keep your eye on. It was an NDP seat, but now it's a toss-up between Liberals and Conservatives. The NDP are suffering at only 16% of the vote in this riding. This is one to keep your eyes on. The Conservatives are currently leading, but only by one vote. That could change at any second. That's one to keep your eye on. I would say it's probably time to. I would probably call Lake Melville by now. Let's see. Oh my God. Oh geez! Wow! Oh my goodness! This is incredible. Like this is it's surprising. For the first time in over an hour, the Conservatives and Liberals are now tied in the seat count and within half a point of each other in the popular vote. This is crazy. I'm gonna call my friend, see what he has to say about this. All right, let's see if he picks up, because this is not something we were expecting. Come on, pick up, pick up, pick up. Come on, pick up. This is incredible how tight this election is. Yeah, he's not picking up. All right, it's fine. Whatever. Okay, I'll call him after. But this is pretty cool. I've never covered an election this tight in all my many years, maybe 2 months of covering elections. This is incredibly tight. Again, the Liberals now not leading, they're tied in the seat count and actually only winning by 0.5% in the popular vote. Wow. Like, again, the polls were saying a 28% lead for the Liberals. This is insane. If I'm being, like, wow. Also, I would say it's ready to call a couple of these ridings already. I've known they've been time to call for a while. Okay. Already. Make sure the audio keeps on working. Okay. I don't even know what to say right now. Nothing's changed in a while. See if this update changed anything. Hopefully it's good news for the party I want to win secretly. But I mean, this is so close right now, anything could change. Okay, which one flipped? Was it the one on the west? No. Which one flipped back? Gander. No, not Gander. Which one flipped? Maybe this one flipped. Which one flipped? Oh, there we go. They finally called it. They had to be sure that the person with 95% of the vote was going to win. Let's go up. All right, so the tie is over. This is incredible. Guys, the Conservative Party is in the lead. This is incredible. I'm trying to stay nonpartisan. Again, I'm not saying who or not I'm voting for. I'm not voting at all. I'm not Newfie. But I mean, just from an outsider's perspective, who I'm rooting for this is good news if you're a conservative and bad news if you're it's tied. Again, it's just tied. This keeps on changing. This is so close. In the last 10 minutes, the Liberal Party has tied, won, and lost seats. Again, I'm gonna stick by my claim. I don't think anyone's winning a majority here. I don't see it. Again, now down to just 0.4% lead for the popular vote. That is really, really close. I mean, the fact is, if everything stays the same, there might, like, genuinely be a tie in the seat count. That might happen. That would be insane. That would be incredible. There is not a huge chance, but there is. I mean, if things keep on playing out the way they're playing out right now, it's not out there to think that there is a world where the Liberals and Conservatives have a tie in the seat count. It just updated. The Conservatives are 0.2% away from taking the popular vote. They must be counting some early ballots now, because usually that's when the Conservatives thrive. During the federal election, for example, before they counted early voting ballots and special ballots, the Conservatives won 38% of the vote, and after they jumped up to 41%. So Conservatives tend to vote early more than anyone. They usually benefit with early ballot. But I mean, like, this is wow, just wow. I mean, again, considering that it was showing a wipeout victory for the Liberals. I am shocked. I am shocked. Wow. This is extremely close, and let's go take a hunt for the NDP. So let's see if the NDP leaders won anything. Again, there have been barely any votes counted. Okay. Okay, here. I'm gonna go through it, riding by riding, see which ones they can call. Nope. Nope. Yeah, at this point, they can call this one. They're probably gonna call that one, because, like, all the polls have been counted. There's nothing. Actually, I would say at the next update, this one's probably gonna get confirmed, because a 10% lead, an exactly 10% lead, when all of the polls have been counted, it's a pretty sufficient lead. Honestly, you can't. The Conservatives can't win. It's impossible. I would say it's definitely time to call that one. Let's see if they call it soon. Actually, let's see if they call it. All right. No, still haven't called that one. Okay, let's check what update just happened. Still no change at all. Zero change. Okay. Let's go down here, see which ones they can call here. Up here, they could probably call this one 10% lead. Yeah, they could probably call that one. I would say they could probably call this one too. Here, that one has been called. No, not quite, not yet. Nope. No, it's the same one. This one, I would say you can probably call this one. Definitely not. This one is a close one. Keep your eyes on that one, guys. Okay, let's go down. Come on, are you kidding me? Why does it do that? Oh, come on. Just get down here. Can they call this one? No, definitely not. That one's a close one. Keep your eye on that one. Whoa, what just happened? Okay. In here, probably not quite. This one I would say you can probably call Fairyland now. I would say call that one. Probably call this one. I would say you can call the NDP leader seat. You can probably call that one. You can probably call both of them. Honestly, you could probably call both. Independents. Oh, both of the independents have been called. Okay, that's good. I would say a lot of them can be called. Okay. Again, the Conservatives are now in the lead again, which is incredible. That's something I did not see happening. The popular vote is now swinging back in the Liberals' favor, but again, it's only now. It went from up by 0.1 to 0.5%. That's still a swing. Okay, looks like both of the independents have been called here. I would say, I don't think the independents will win. There's no more seats for the independents to win. Independents are done. Independents are only winning 2 seats this election. I'm calling it. That's done. Now, NDP, in my professional opinion, I'm gonna call. Maybe I'll wait a little longer. We'll have to see. We're already 80 minutes in though, so. Okay. 5%. Yeah. in the grand scheme of things, there we go. Okay, something just happened. All right, one of the swing ridings had just swung back to Liberals because now we're in a dead tie again. Only winning by 0.8% of the popular vote. So Liberals are getting back, I would have to say. They are building themselves back up a bit. They're not as lost as they were a few minutes ago. Liberals are up to a 0.8% lead, and a tie in the seat count. And I think it's time. I'm gonna call it for the NDP. Both of those seats are. I think NDPs are gonna win. At least, definitely the leader. He won that one. I think that's crazy they haven't called it yet. But yeah, I'm gonna say the NDP is probably gonna win both those seats, but nothing else. But everything else, I mean, let's see here. Update. Liberals are surprisingly back in the lead, which hasn't happened in 20 minutes. Liberals are back in the lead with now how much popular vote lead? 4, 5, 6, 0.6, actually down to 0.6% popular vote lead. Now leading by 2 seats. Let's see which ones those are. Oh, come on. Okay. Which ones have the Liberals flipped? No, which ones did they flip then? I don't even see them. Huh. I didn't press that. That's a close one. That's close. Nothing changed, guys. A 0.4% lead for the Liberals. 2-seat lead, but that keeps on flip-flopping. Sometimes the Conservatives leading by 2, sometimes the Liberals leading by 2. I would say by now it's time to call the 2 NDP seats. I'm gonna say they won those. I mean, I don't know why they haven't called them yet. That's basically confirmed, all but confirmed that they've won those 2 seats. Independents aren't gonna win anymore. They haven't moved in quite a while. However, the Liberal vote's shrinking again to 0.3% lead. But which ones the Liberals flip? The one's down here. Down there. Now, if I were to guess to why the Liberals are doing worse this time, it's because rural Newfoundland, central Newfoundland especially, a lot of fishers, people who catch fish for that's their job, and one thing that Liberals are known for, it is putting regulations on things like fishing. And I know federally there were a lot of fishers that were protesting Mark Carney for some of the regulations he was putting on the fishing industry that caused a lot of them to lose their jobs. or make it very hard for them to make a livable wage. So I would not be surprised if some of them switch their votes to the Conservatives this time. That's why some of the more rural votes down here, like most of the ridings in central Newfoundland here, are blue, when, again, last time, I want to let me switch tabs. Again, last time it was basically all red. Would it look better if it's in dark mode? Now let's see. What do you guys think? Light mode or dark mode? No, it's kind of confusing. I'm gonna keep it in light mode. Okay. Right now, before it refreshes, it's about to. Here we go. The Conservatives are behind by 2 seats and 0.3% of the popular vote. And let's see. Nothing changed. Liberals still up. Their vote has shrunk, though. They're not only leading by 0.2% of the vote. The popular vote's going to be extremely close. That's all I know. Otherwise, no change. Libs 19, PC 17, Independent and DP both 2. If we scroll down, have they called this guy's seat yet? No, they haven't. They really should. I mean, like, I don't know what they're doing this taking them so long. But wow, that's a very close popular vote. But that's like 300 votes right there. Not even. Wow, okay. So here's something that I said from the beginning, but I'm going to stick by my... I don't think anyone's winning a majority government today in Newfoundland. I really think it's too close for that. I mean, the popular vote is now within 0.1%, and the Liberals only winning by two seats, which is crazy, considering just like a week ago, the polls were showing a 28% lead for the Liberals. They were going to win 28% more than the other party. That is incredible. That how much it can change. The polls were very wrong in this election here. Extremely wrong. The Liberals are now only winning by 150 votes. That is a big swing from what we saw before. Again, this is what the map looked like in 2021. One thing you'll notice is all of the independent seats are gone. The independents dropped a lot, and their second place, the party that absorbed most of the independents' votes were the PC. And wow, okay, well look at that. For the first time all night, guys, the Conservatives are now winning the popular vote. The Liberals are losing the popular vote, which again, a week ago, the poll said that it would be a 28-point lead for the Liberals, and the NDP is doing a little worse than they did last time, but nothing crazy. The big shift here is the independents. All of the independent MPPs in Newfoundland, most of them did not get reelected. Only 2 of them have been reelected. And surprisingly, most of the independent MPs actually all the independent voters actually went to the PCs. Instead of the NDP, which was what I actually personally would have expected. But again, now the PC is winning the popular vote by 0.2%. Again, this is a complete shift from what we saw. It was not scheduled to be such a close election. However, this is a very close election, and the seats are now tied again. Wow. I mean, Liberals elected in 12, Conservatives elected in 7, leading in 11, Libs elected leading in 6. NDP and Independent both too. I think they can call both of the NDP seats by now. I don't know why they're not. However, I think it's pretty fair to say. I mean, when is it gonna change again? Here we go. Oh my gosh! Wow! Wow! Okay. Well, that's a massive shift, guys. Wow. The Conservatives are now smoking the Liberals, leading them by 4 points by 4 seats and 0.2% of the popular vote. That's insane. That is insane. This is not what anyone expected that I knew of, at least. Wow. I mean, I said nobody's going to win a majority. I think I stand by that claim. But no matter who wins tonight, I think we can for sure say this is a massive swing. And what this really is, more than anything, is a shift away from the Liberals, but mostly away from the Independents towards the PC. That's the biggest killer. Not to mention, the Liberal voter efficiency is not the greatest. Wow. This is interesting. Wow. Waiting for the next thing. Okay, I'm waiting for. Okay, well, again, the PC popular vote is now increasing to 0.4%. However, again, this could change, considering the PCs are only elected in 9 of the ridings. There's still 11 that they're only leading in, but I'm not sure how much of a lead they have in those. But this is pretty big shift from what we expected, that's for sure. Oh. Well, I might have just been proven wrong. Again. I know I said nobody would win a majority, but the Conservatives apparently, if everything stays the same, they might win a majority, which I was not expecting. Effectively, the party roles have reversed. An hour ago, the Conservatives were the ones with 15, and the Liberals were the ones with 21. Again, there's a pretty good chance that none, a lot of these ridings aren't even called tonight. They'll have to wait for tomorrow or even more recounts because of just how close this is. Wow. That is something, that's for sure. I don't quite know what to make of this, if I'm being honest. Okay, one did just flip a little. Which one flipped? Okay, this one's finally been called. All these have been called. Going here. not that one. This one down here. This one is incredibly tight. This one right here. This one, not quite as tight. I would say probably ready to call that one. Okay, ready? It's about to switch again. This is, though, a big shift from what we saw just an hour ago. Where, I mean, even just like, again, the liberals were supposed to win a majority easily, and there were many polls coming out saying it wouldn't be crazy if they had a 28% lead. They got 28% more than the other party. This, okay, 13 more seconds. But this really is an upset. Wow. Frankly, I don't even know what to say anymore. How many polls have been counted? Let's see here. Oh, something just changed there. 1,453 out of 1,674 polls have been counted. They have 220 more polls to count. But I mean, as of right now, effectively the Liberals and Conservatives have elected the same amount of MPPs. It really just is those leads. If the leads stay the same, then I think I can call it for the Conservatives, which is something I did not think would even be in the ballpark for me to be able to be saying right now. But if right now everything stays the same, that the Newfies have a Conservative government, which again is a big shift from just a week ago, where the polls were saying such a huge lead for the Liberals. It's a polar opposite. It's a complete 180. I would say, as of right now, the real question is, will the Conservative government be a Liberal or a Conservative? Will it be a majority or a minority? Unless something drastic happens right now, nothing seems to be changing. The Conservatives are winning the popular vote. They're winning the amount of ridings. And again, I'm going to say my analysis comes down to really two main things. And it's not that people don't like the current government, because the current government in Newfoundland seems to be having a pretty high approval rating. What it seems to be is that the Liberal Party's voter efficiency is terrible, and the independence result is terrible. And why that matters for the Conservatives so much is that the Liberal Party isn't necessarily less popular. I think what it really is that, I mean, look how close the popular vote is. The popular vote for the Liberals, the voter efficiency isn't good. It is too concentrated, not spread out enough. And all of the if you look again last time, look at how many independent seats there are. All those independent seats, and there were only 2 independent MPs that won this time in this election. And by the numbers that I'm looking at, it looks like the majority of the independent MPs, voters, they went to the Conservatives. They seem to all shift to the Conservative. If you look at, again, this one right here, that's dark black. That is a complete and total win for the independent. And now, if you come down and look at it this time, 96% for the Conservatives. There's not even an independent. So either the independent crossed the floor, or all of the independents did so bad this time and all of their voters went to conservatives. Again, this isn't about government popularity. Usually it's about how good the government's doing. It's a reflection on the current government. In this Newfoundland election, what it really seems to be about isn't about how good or bad the government's doing. It really seems to be about voter efficiency and independent MPPs either not running again or all of their voters going to the conservatives. And again, this is not it's off the top of my head. I'm not scripting this. So if I stop and stutter sometime, it's just I'm thinking off the top of my head. This is not scripted. Yeah, this is an interesting situation because nothing's changed for a while. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. I'm gonna say I can call both of those two. I'm calling Lake Melville and Labrador West. Those are PC electeds. This one, I'm also calling it for the PC. I don't know why they haven't yet. That's 3. And then here. This one, I don't think we can call this one yet. It's still kind of close. That one's still close and has a lot more to be counted. Come down here. This one, I've been saying we can call this one for so long now. I don't know why they haven't yet. No, not this one yet. But I'm gonna say 1, 2, and 3. These 3 you can call for the conservatives by now. I think I've seen enough. I'm gonna say those 3 are probably conservative wins. Conservatives are now gaining in the popular vote even more. And I didn't do the other part. As for the Liberals, the ones they're leading in, this one you cannot. That is too close. This one, I'm gonna say you can call this one for the Liberals. That one you can call. Not you. I'm not talking to the audience. I'm just saying the CBC should call that. Ooh, this is a tricky one because it's an incumbent. He's only leading by 1.5 points, but it's 38 out of 40. I would say you can probably call those ones too. I'm gonna say we can most likely call those. Now, yeah, I'm gonna say you can call 2 of the 3 leads for the Liberals, and you can probably call 3 of the 7 leads for the Conservatives right now. I think the ones I just showed you, showed the audience, I think we can probably call those ones. I'm scared to make a call. I don't want to be wrong if overnight something else happens, but how do I word this? As of right now, if nothing changes, whoa, which one just flipped? That's good for the Conservatives. If you can tell, I'm a conservative supporter. I'm not great at hiding it. Well, I was right. We can't call this one yet. Leading by not too many votes. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So back to what I was saying. Unless something changes in the next 2 seconds. Yeah, no, nothing changed. Okay. Okay. I might be proven wrong later on in the night, but as of what I'm seeing right now, again, things could change, but I'm gonna make an early projection. Oh, okay. I don't want to call it just yet. As of right, if everything stays the same, I'm gonna call. I would call it for the Conservatives, which is something I don't think I'll be able to say. But again, a few of those ridings are really close, so we'll have to wait and see. They finally called one for the NDP. Was it the leader? Let's see. Did they call for the leader? Yeah, they finally called it for him. This one they should also call. That's pretty close. So it's not close. That's pretty. I would say that's pretty close. That's not close. That's pretty well. Pretty good lead. Let's see. Nothing seems to be changing except the Conservatives seem to be winning more support. So, sorry, I would say if nothing changes, I'm calling it for the Conservatives. However, that could change. As that's out only as of right now. If nothing changes, we'll have to see. The Conservatives now have a half a point lead in the popular vote. NDP, you could probably call the second one, I would say. I would say for the Liberals, they can probably call both of them. Both of the ones that they're leading, I would call both of them. And then for the PC, I would call the three I showed you before. Those three I would call. I would say most of them are pretty much like I can't see a whole lot changing between now and whenever we find out the official results. Huh. This is unique. This is interesting. See if there's any news on it yet. There's no news articles calling it yet. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else to say. The reason I'm not talking is because I've ran out of things to say. I've basically said everything there is. Yeah, frankly, I don't know what else to say. I mean, as of right now, it looks like a PC win. PC majority if everything stays the same. I mean, I can't see a liberal majority right now and say that's out of the question. Let's take a look. Let's see which ones haven't they called yet. They can probably call that one. Or no, never mind, not that one yet. Fairyland, yeah, they have to call that one already. I don't know what they're taking, why they're taking so long. You definitely call this one. And then these two they can call. These two they can call for sure. That's a huge win. It's a big victory margin. This one they can call. This one they can call. No, never mind. Not this one. I would say not yet. I don't think you can call this one yet. The other three, is it 3 or 4? I think the other 3 definitely. And then 1 and 2 you can call. This one you can call for the Liberals, and this one you can call for the Liberals also. So I would say you can probably call both of the ones for the Liberals right now, and at least 3 for the Conservatives. Maybe not 4 for the Conservatives. NDP call the second. They can call the second one, and obviously there's no more independents. The independent vote hasn't moved in ages. I honestly don't know why they seem to be very hesitant to call anything, which I understand. But like, if one candidate has a 15-point lead and they've had a 15-point lead for an hour, I think you can call it. Like, I don't know what they're doing. We're coming up on just under 2 hours, and still no big news sites have called it yet. I just think they're all in disbelief. I think most people here were expecting a Liberal win, and it looks like a Conservative win. I can't be sure, but it does look like a PC win. As of right now, it's been looking like that for a while. I mean, again, if this is how they win, this is a huge margin of victory. Like, the fact that the Conservative Party, the PCs in Newfoundland, can go from losing by 28% in the polls to winning by 0.5, even just a little, even like just like half a percent, is pretty substantial. Sorry, the mic was off. um, what else? Okay. So here, let's see any updates here. I don't really think anything's going to change drastically. Nope. If anything, the Conservatives actually somehow gained more of the popular vote. I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that they're going to win the popular vote, and they're probably going to win the election in general, which that's a big upset from what it was saying not too long ago. It is still, when it comes to the popular vote, this is still a very, very close election. Very close. It just comes down to voter efficiency. In the end, voter efficiency and the fact that all the independent voters went to the PCs. That's where most of the independent votes went to. How many have been called yet? There's still over 100 polls reporting. That to be reported, not reporting. 6 votes. 6 more seconds. And okay, and nothing's changed still. I'm actually gonna get some more water. My throat's killing me, but just watch the results. All right, my friends, I'm back. I got some more water and I got some more hulls because I've been talking too much for my own good, considering, oh come on, consider that the playback's killing me. Considering, how sick I've been recently, but I do this because I'm passionate about politics, and if it kills me, it kills me, so it's fine. 2 seconds. I spilled water everywhere. Okay. Yeah, no change. I'm calling it. The Conservatives won this election. Yeah, the Conservatives won this. I mean, I don't know what else I can say to this. Like, I don't know what else there is to say that hasn't already been said or shown. I mean, I would say it's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty clear who won this election, and I mean, surprisingly, it looks like the NDP actually gained support from last time by 0.2%, which I was not expecting. So I was wrong there. But I mean, which one did they call? Hold on, which one did they call? St. Mary's? Yeah, they call that. They should have called that a long time ago. I'm waiting any second for a concession speech from Hogan. What's his name? Josh Hogan or something? No, John Hogan. John Hogan. Okay. Okay. 0.5% lead. Yeah, nothing changed. Again, nothing changed. John Hogan has a YouTube channel with 2 subscribers. Okay, nothing else seems to be changing right now. I mean, I'm pretty confident in my call. I'm just waiting for the mainstream media to call it, like for the CBC to call it. I don't know why they haven't yet, surprisingly, honestly. They probably should have called this a while ago. I honestly don't know what's taking them so long. All right. Would you look at that? Which one this? This one probably one they could have called a while ago. Oh, they called that one. All right, cool. I knew they said they could have called that like 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes ago or something. Well, I mean, there you have it. I mean, the liberals aren't leading in anything right now. They've elected 50 and they haven't led anything. They're not leading in any riding right now. I think, let's take a look here. We already know these 3 they can call. Let's take a look just for fun. They can call that one. They could definitely call that one. Oh my god. Down here. For sure they can call that one. This one. Excuse me. I would say still no, not that one. Down here. 39. Ooh. I would say not that one either. They can. Ooh. I would say they can probably call that one, even though it's really close. And I would say you can call the same one. Yes, the exact same one. Okay, well, yeah, they can probably call both. And then other than that, can they call this one yet? They can probably call that one too. I'm gonna say they can probably call that one also. Well, guys, I mean, I don't think there's much more to say. Coming up on over 2 hours now. Oh my god, I'm so tired. exhausted. I did so much canvassing today. So much door knocking on behalf of a political party. Walked 11 kilometers and I pooped. That's for sure. There are now less than 100 polls to go, but nothing's changed. Yeah, I'm gonna say you can call it. Not you. Everyone. We can call it. If you are an NDP or an independent supporter, go to bed. If you're a liberal supporter, give yourself a pat on the back. You tried hard and you did good. If you're a conservative supporter, go out, have a blast, go party. You deserve it. You guys have done a fantastic job. Both liberal and conservative did a really good campaign. I have to point out, you guys did a good campaign. And the fact that the PCs can overcome such a big obstacle, it is really inspiring. They completely turned this election around. Something I did not expect to happen. However, the results, the numbers don't lie. And I mean, I don't think that the Liberals have another way of coming back. Maybe next time. But I mean, it looks like a conservative majority, maybe a minority, but we'll have to wait and see. But the popular vote hasn't moved in a good 20 minutes. So, well, unless something drastic happens, like a city was somehow not counted and it flips it on its head, I really don't see anything else happening. No, I mean, which one did they just confirm? They just confirmed Labrador West. They could have called that an hour ago. If I'm being totally honest, I think both real parties did a good job here. It's not comes down to who worked harder. I really think it just came down to who had better voter efficiency and just better placement of the voters. But I do think that I really don't think the Liberals can turn this around at this point. So guys, go out and have fun, party, either celebrate or don't celebrate. Be sad if you want, but 44% of you should be really happy right now. So that's good. That's really good. I'm very happy to see something like this because it gives me something to cover that isn't so boring. Because like I expected this to be called within the first 45 minutes, like the Ontario one, where it's like we all knew the PC was gonna win and they won. Wow, good job, fourth majority. But with this one it was so fun to watch just because how much things changed. So much was flipped on its head. So this definitely was an interesting election to see. Let's see if anything changes here. Nope, nothing changed. Nothing changed at all. Okay. They can call this, they can call that, they can call this one. There's 3 they can call right off the bat. There's only 2 they can't. Sorry, 3 they can't. But I mean, other than that, I genuinely don't know what else there is to say. Again, I've said everything there is to be said. That's the election right there. Yeah. I think I might end it. I'll either end it now or just keep it going, but I'm not gonna I won't talk because I don't know what else to say. Either go celebrate or go to bed. All the advice I can give you guys. Congratulations to Newfoundland and Labrador for electing their new government, and that's democracy, guys. Oh my god, I'm so tired. All right, I have been doing just the last few minutes. I have just been with over the map on my phone. I think the following ones can be called. Lake Melville can be called for the PC. St. George Humber can be called for PC. Um, Placentia West Bellevue can be called for PC. Care Bonner Trinity Bay Deverd can be called for the PC. Topsail Paradise can be called for PC. St. John's East Quiddy Vidi can be called for the NDP. And the ones that are still up for debate would be Fogo Island, Cape Friels. PCs are leading and incumbent, but that is still not locked in. And is that it? Yeah, probably it. Oh, and this one. Sorry, and oh, that's it. Okay. Yeah. So guys, that looks like it. That's probably it. There are at least 3, maybe 4 that I can right now call for the PC, and then one I can call for the NDP. So guys, that has been my coverage. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been 130 minutes and just over 2 hours since I started, and now I am going to go. Thank you everybody for watching. This election was a fun one to cover. It did not go the way I expected. In my opinion, went for the better. It ended up better than I expected, but that's how it went. So guys, have a good night. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends. All right. By the way, if you like this, like, subscribe. I'll cover more elections. I do like covering elections, and I'll do my best to cover all of them from now on, all the big ones. So that's it. PC's won. That's all I can say about this election. Goodbye.